So our first problem is about a pizzeria. At a pizzeria, we sell pizza. And the cost for the pizza is going to be determined by the number of toppings that you buy. So for example, in this one, we've got quite a few toppings, and each of those toppings will cost you more money. So the problem says a pizzeria charges $8 for a large cheese pizza, plus $2 for each topping. The total cost for a large pizza is given by the equation C equals 2t plus 8, where t is the number of toppings. Graph the equation for t between 0 and 5 toppings and explain the meaning of the slope and the y-intercept. So if we look at this stuff, first we can cross out that first line and the first part of the second line as well, because while $8 and $2 per each topping is important information, they actually turn it into an equation for us already in that second line. So we don't have to do the work of turning it into an equation, it's already done. So as to not confuse ourselves, we can just cross that information out. So now we are left with this equation, and we need to figure out which variable, the c or the t, is our x and which variable is our y. So let's review what slope-intercept form is. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, and if we line that up with our equation c equals 2t plus 8, we see that our c is lining right up with our y, and our t is lining right up with our x. So we're going to say c is y and t is x. That will help us as we go to graph the equation. So to graph that equation, c equals 2t plus 8, we need to start with our y-intercept, and we know that the 8 is in the place where our b normally is, so we are going to count up on our graph 8 spaces upward and put our first point right there. Now, if you can see, the second little paragraph that I have there says to graph the equation for t between 0 and 5. 0 and 5 toppings. So all that's saying right there is that we want to just look at the right side of the graph, the side of the graph that has 0 to 5 for x, or for our toppings, t. So to continue graphing this equation, so since we're doing that, we can just look at the positive side of our graph. And to continue graphing it, we would now use our slope, and we would count up to and over to the right one to get us our next point, and then we can draw a line through. Now, as you can see, our graph doesn't really fit this whole line, so I'm going to just change my axes now, and if we count up by 2's instead of by 1's, and we expand the graph a little bit, we'll see that it actually fits all the way on, and we can get all the way over to 5 toppings like they ask us to do. Now the last thing they ask us to do is to interpret what the slope means and what the y-intercept means. So let's go back and look at our original equation. And first we see our y-intercept, or our b, was 8. And if we look right in the problem, it says that $8 is the charge for a cheese pizza to start with, just before you put any toppings on it. So we can say that our y-intercept is the initial cost before any toppings. And our slope is the cost of how much each topping is going to cost. So the price per topping. So slope, cost per topping, y-intercept, how much a pizza costs to begin with without any toppings on it. And that is all.